Hello, everyone on Facebook and YouTube and the website. We should be starting any minute now.
Yes.
Shana Tova, everybody. I'm up here.
Shana Tova, Cancer.
Nice to see you all. I just wanted to, I'm going to have to go in a few moments because we have a choir rehearsal at 9:15 before the other service, but I wanted to welcome you all and sing a little Shana Tova to you, okay? L'shana Tova Tikatevu, L'shana Tova Tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. L'shana tova tikatevu, L'shana tova tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. Can you join me this time? L'shana tova tikatevu, L'shana tova tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. Last time, L'shana tova tikatevu, L'shana tova tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. Shana Tova, and hope to see many of you throughout the High Holy Days.
Thank you, Cantor. So, how's everyone doing this morning? How's everyone feeling? How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? It's so nice to see you, whether you are in this tent with us or whether you're online with us. It's so nice to see everyone. If you're online, can you type in how you're feeling this morning? And if you're here, can you share with the people that are with you how you're feeling this morning? Share a feeling that you're having, whether it's excitement or tired or energetic, happy. How you doing this morning? I got happy and thankful. Lots of thankful. Lots of people thankful this morning. That is wonderful. Okay. So nice to see everyone. I'm so thankful that we're back together again. So nice to be here in this beautiful setting. Whenever we're together, there are songs that we sing, there are prayers that we say. One of them is how nice it is that we're gathered together. And so we're going to sing, and as we know, the cantor had to go. So we're really going to be relying on all of you. So if you can join us, and I'm going to invite Rabbi to come up to help us. But since it's Rabbi and me, instead of the cantor, we really need all of you to help us. So we're going to sing Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov.
Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. One more time. Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Kenotecha Yisrael.
Can someone tell me, why are we gathered here today? Why are we here today? Besides, it's a gorgeous day. Why are we here today? Yes. You got to say it out really loud. And you know what, Rabbi? Can you bring the microphone over?
Because it's Rosh Hashanah.
Because it's Rosh Hashanah. Great job. Now, because it's Rosh Hashanah today. Now, how many of you have a nickname? Raise your hand if you have a nickname. Raise your hand if your name can be shortened. Like Susan can be shortened to Sue or Susie, although I've never been a Susie. Now raise your hand if you are a sibling, a sister or a brother. Now raise your hand if you are a son or a daughter. Now stand up if you are a parent. Now stay standing up if you are a grandparent. It's nice to have some grandparents in the room, isn't it? We thank them for being with us. Well, we're called lots of different things. We may be called parent, we may be called a grandparent, we may be called a sibling, we may be called a child, we may be called a son or a daughter. This holiday of Rosh Hashanah has many different names too. One of its names is Yom Teruah, Yom, day, and the second part is Teruah. Can you all try to say that? Teruah. Can you try to say it? Okay, that was kind of quiet. Try it again. Better, but not so loud yet. Try it one more time. Much better. Teruah means day, Yom, of blast or shouting. So now that you know what it means, try it again, representing what the day means. Yom Teruah. Much better. Why do you think it's called Yom Teruah? Why would we call it day of shouting or day of blast? Now, it is a fun day, so that's one reason why it could be a blast. But why is it called day of blast? Why would it be called a day of blast? Anyone have any idea? Alex, why might it be called a day of blast? The microphone's coming over to you right now.
Well, because there's a shofar here, and I know that when we blow the shofar, it's for special occasions. So I guess, and so you kind of do blast with the shofar. They can be considered blasts.
Excellent. Excellent, because we blow the shofar on special occasions and we blow the shofar today. Excellent. Thank you very much. Because we blow the shofar. Well, today in our service, we're going to blow the shofar a whole bunch of times. And the shofar service is divided into 3 parts. So we're going to do all three parts today. The first part is called Malchuyot, where we talk about God being like a king or a ruler or a queen. And we are about to hear the shofar for the first time this year. And we say a blessing that is said when we hear the shofar. And the blessing goes like this. It begins like most blessings begin. How do most blessings begin? Very good. Baruch atah Adonai. And then what? Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Because this is a commandment. This is one of the mitzvot. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. The last three words are these. Lishmoa. Lishmoa. The next word is kol shofar. Okay. Have we heard before the word lishmoa or something that sounds similar to lishmoa? Have we heard the word lishmoa before? I think we have a hand. Yes. Have we heard the word lishmoa before? Shmoa. Shma. Shma. Have we heard that word before anywhere? I'm hearing it. Yes, the Shema. So what do you think lishmoa, if it sounds similar to Shema, might mean? If it's similar to Shema, what might it mean? I'm hearing some answers. I see some answers. People are giving me this. It means to hear or listen or pay attention. So before we even get to hear the shofar, I'm going to invite everyone to stand up. And we're going to first sing the Shema. So you ready?
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Hear, listen, pay attention, O Israel. The divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. The divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. Its faces are infinite. The many are one. The shofar is like an alarm clock telling us to wake up. Wake up. Everyone stretch, wake up. Or it's an alarm, a siren, a bell, a detector, grabbing our attention. Pay attention. But pay attention to what? What do you think we should pay attention to? This is a real question. What do you think we should pay attention to? Noah, tell me, what are we paying attention to? I hope it's muted you. You know what? You may have to type your answer, Noah.
Rosh Hashanah.
pay attention that it's Rosh Hashanah. Absolutely. We're paying attention that it's Rosh Hashanah, and we're paying attention. We're paying attention that it's Rosh Hashanah, and we're paying attention that God is in everything, and God is everywhere, and God has created everything, and all the great things that God has created. So with that, when we hear the shofar blowing, we're going to want to pay attention to all that God has created. As we hear the shofar for the first time, I'd love for you to reflect back on this past year. It certainly was a year unlike any other. What were your wow moments? For what and for whom are you grateful this past year? So let's say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. And then there's one more blessing we have to do because it's a first. We ready? What blessing do we say when it's a first? What blessing do we say when it's a first? The first time you put on a new piece of clothing. Yes, the Shehafianu. Thank you. So let's do that together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehafianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. So we're going to call out the shofar sounds for Alex, okay? And hopefully you'll be able to join me. So we'll all call out the sound and then we'll listen. So the first sound's going to be, do any of you know the order? Let's stay by a mic. The first sound's going to be tekiah. Don't call it out yet, it'll probably sound it. The second one's going to be shivarim. And the third one's going to be teruah. And then we're doing this 3 times, right? Great. So the last one, which we're not going to do this time, is how do you say a big tekiah? Yeah, Jody knows. How do you say big in Hebrew? Thank you. So it's going to be a tekiah gadol. All right, so on the count of 3, we're all going to call out tekiah for Alex. Tekiah. Shivarim. Teruah.
Yesha koach. Yesha koach. So I had you be thinking about your wow moments. And now I'd like you to think about, to start thinking about sharing them. So here we go. By the way, you can sit down. Thank you for standing so long. Might have felt good. Do we still have the microphones over here? Jody, may I ask you to grab it? Because now I'm going to ask you to share some. For those of you on Zoom, if you can share your answers in the chat. And for those of you who are here, if you'd be willing to raise your hand and share. I'd like you to share some of your things that you are grateful for, the people and the things that you are grateful for. And we're going to sing some things in between those things that you are grateful for. So what are the things and the people that you are grateful for this past year? Anyone? For health. Okay, so the first one was for health. And we're going to now say, you're going to repeat after me. For all this, animo de. Okay, and the next one.
What do you think for? My mama.
For your mama. Excellent. For all this, animo da.
Animo da. Yeah, well, you were out there. So.
Food and water.
For food and water. For all this, animo da.
For helping my 14-year-old dad.
Rabbi, can you repeat that?
Might have.
It sounds like you're helping my old dad.
No, her 14-year-old dog.
For how healthy her 14-year-old dog is. For all this, animo da. Anyone else? We have a hand here.
I am grateful that I get to spend time with my parents and my children at the same time.
For getting to be with our parents and our children at the same time. That took a lot, and thanks for the vaccinations and everything else that got us to this point. For all this, animo da. Author of life, architect of creation, artist of earth, your works declare your holy name. Mighty rivers, turbulent seas, towering mountains, rolling hills, vast spaces of brilliance and grandeur. You created palette and paint, color and hue, shape and form, abundant and beautiful, glorious and majestic, full of mystery and wonder. Blessed are you with divine love. You created a world of splendor. We move on to Zichronot. The shofar calls us to remember. What are we remembering? We often read the word remember in the Torah. God remembered Noah and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made the wind pass over the earth and dry up the water. God heard their moaning, and God remembered the covenant that was made with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. The shofar reminds us to pay attention to who we are and how we can become our best selves, kinder, more helpful, and more generous. The high holy days are a time to look closely at our lives and to think deeply about what changes we can make. It helps us remember our relationship with God and our covenant with God that was first made with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. So I'm going to invite everyone to stand up for a moment again. Not yet, Alex, but thank you. But Rabbi's coming up, and we're going to chant the first line of the Avot Ve'imahot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah.
And you get to sit down again. Thinking back on this last year, as we remember, Thinking back on this last year as we remember, when was a time someone showed you kindness? When was a time someone showed you kindness? Once you have that in your mind, share it with your family. And now, thinking back on this last year, when was the time you showed someone else kindness? And if you want, share that with your family. Now, just thinking to yourself, what other times were you your best self? Were there times when you missed being your best self? How did it feel? How did it feel when you were your best self? How did it feel when you were your best self? The shofar reminds us to be our best selves. So this time, when we do the shofar calls, we're all going to join in making the shofar sounds as well. But we're going to do it this way. When Alex blows the shofar, we're all going to be the shofar as well. So we're going to make the sounds, and I'm going to show you how. Because it's going to remind us to be our best selves. So I want everyone to make your hands into a shofar. Now, I will tell you all a big secret. I, other than this way, am not able to make the sounds of a shofar. I have tried for years and years and years, and I still can't get a sound out of the shofar. But this way I can. So, even wearing this mask, I can. So, the first sound is tekiah. It's one note. And it's going to sound like this. I'm going to do it, and then you're going to do it. Do your best. You all do it now. Excellent. Now, the second sound is shivarim. It's 3 notes. Do your best. Excellent. And then it's Teruah, which is 9 notes, 3 sets of 3. Do your best. Excellent. So now we're ready.
All set, everyone? Tikia. Shivarim. Teruah.
When something important needs to be said. In biblical times, it was announced with a shofar. When the 10 Commandments were given, a shofar sounded. When an emergency threatened a community, a shofar sounded. When it was a new moon, a shofar sounded. Well, we are now in the shofarot section. To hear more about how the shofar came to be, we have Rabbi telling us a story.
I'm going to change the story just a little bit. And you're going to have to help me tell the story, okay? So, once upon a time, and sorry guys, you're not going to see me all the time because I'm telling the story, I've got to walk. So, once upon a time, not that long ago, there was a village where everyone thought he or she was the wisest, or they were the wisest people in the world. Anyone know the name of that little community? I heard somebody say it. Who said it over here?
Helm.
Absolutely, it was the village of Helm. And in Helm, they had a real problem. The story goes back to about 1871, when Mrs. Old Goldberg's cow just happened to kick over a lantern in her barn. And that lantern, which wasn't an electric lantern, where do you think it started? A fire. And it then spread to Mrs. O. Rosenberg's barn, the next farm over. And then it went over to the Goldberg's farm until, oh my gosh, there was a fire and the people didn't know what to do except to pray. And eventually the rain came and put out the fire. Now, nobody lost their lives, but everyone's barn was burned down. And so they had a village meeting. And at the meeting, they all started debating, what are we going to do? And eventually, the decision was made to send the community's wisest man, a fellow by the name of Gimple, to the big city to see what they do in the big city. So Gimple loaded up his wagon, attached the mule, and then over the river and through the woods, he went far, far away to the big city. He went to the inn, he checked in. It was late at night by the time he got there, went to sleep. And in the middle of the night, this is where I'm going to need your help, guys. In the middle of the night, all of a sudden, he heard a bunch of drums going something like this. But I need your help to do this. So somewhere, guys, on your chairs or another chair, start beating the drums. Real loud. Oh, he heard these drums. He ran down and he saw the innkeeper and he said to the innkeeper, "What's all this noise? I hear all those drums." And the innkeeper said, "Oh, those are our fire drums. That means that's right." And so Gimple, this is why he was in the big city. So he went out and he followed the sound of, come on guys, And he kept following those drums and following, and he came to a place where obviously there had been a fire and it was out. So Gimple knew. He had his answer. So he couldn't sleep. He was so excited. And so early that morning, he found the big city's drum maker and went to the drum maker and said, I'm so impressed with your fire drums. I want 612 fire drums, one for every person who lives in my village. The drum maker was thrilled. It's a big order. Said, good, come back in 2 days. I'll have all 612 fire drums set for you to go. Well, 2 days later, Gimple came with his wagon. He was so excited because there they were, 612 fire drums that he was bringing back to all of his fellow Helmites. So once again, he loaded them up through the woods, over the river, back to Helm. And everyone was so excited to see Gimple back. He distributed all the drums, and then he told every Helmite, this is what you do. When you know about a fire, you take out your fire drums and you start, oh, Helmites, you're so great. We won't have any more fires. And Gimple went back home and went to sleep. Well, you could guess what happened that night. Yes. There was again, this time at Mrs. O'Goldberg's barn, a cow that kicked over a lantern, that started a fire, that spread to the Goldbergs, that spread to the Rosenbergs. But this time, every Helmite knew what to do. All they had to do was, but the fire kept spreading. So all they had to do, they knew, was you had to beat even harder on the drums, because obviously that's going to work, right? Some of the men in Helm were so upset that they started kicking their fire drums, because maybe that would work better. It's kind of a man's thing to do. If something doesn't work, you just kick it, right? Did it put out the fire? No. So once again, they went back to what they've always done. They prayed. And a couple of days later, it rained and the fire went out. Well, another town meeting. Gimple was a little embarrassed. So he said, look, these must be defective fire drums. I will take them back and he will make us real working fire drums. So Gimple went back to the big city over the river through the woods, reported then to the fire drum maker and said, sir, your fire drums are defective. They didn't work. They are? Tell me, sir, said the fire drum maker, where are you from? Oh, I'm from the village where the wisest people in the world live. I'm from Helm. Once he heard that, the fire drum maker said, oh, so tell me, after you beat the drums, what did you do? We waited for the drums to put out the fire. Said, no, sir. The drums are simply the fire alarm system, right? It's the warning to tell you that you're supposed to go out and put out the fire. Oh, said Gimple. And so Gimple went back and taught the people how to properly use the fire drums. It's an announcing tool. It's simply made to warn you that there's a fire and you've got to go back. So that's what this is, right? I can blow on it all I want. Maybe make a sound or do my best, right? But what it's supposed to do, is it going to make everything go away? Is it going to make everything better? Is it going to make it a great year? It's supposed to wake each and every one of you up to go to all the people who did something wrong and to say, they're going to pick on you. What are you supposed to say?
No, I punch him.
Oh, that one.
Say sorry.
So this is your announcing tool. Now is the time. You're going to hear it one more time, announcing that in these days to come, fill your lungs with air. Go to people and say, I'm sorry. And that goes for us as parents and grandparents too. Supposedly in Chelm, they're still trying to figure out the system.
This time, as we hear the shofar, we are going to think about a prayer we are going to create now that is all about being God's partner. We can be God's partner in making meaning by turning pain into caring, by turning love into generosity, by turning Torah into action. This year, God, help me to think about what your answer is. Remind me to, inspire me to. This year, God, help me to, remind me to, inspire me to. Please rise.
All right, guys, I said there are 4 calls. Remember the big one. That's going to be the last one. All set? Announce it with me. Tikia. Shivarim. Teruah. How do you announce this last one with me? It's the big Tikia, right? Tikia Gedolah. Shema.
In 9 days, it will be Yom Kippur. It is a day of reconciliation, of healing and coming back together between us and God, between us and our family, between us and our friends. Take a moment to think about being at one on the day of at one-ment or atonement. At times, our family and friends do things that cause displeasure in our hearts, and we do the same to them. Yom Kippur and the days that lead up to it is a great opportunity to let go of these hurts and angers. When we repair a relationship, we call it in Hebrew tikkun, meaning fixing or repair. Think of someone with whom your relationship is not completely whole, with whom you need to achieve some tikkun. Think about how you can repair it, having a private conversation with them, how it might be to heal it, how it might be to end the conversation with a hug, a kiss, or perhaps just an elbow bump. How you can do the same with God. Is there anything you need to discuss with God? Have you been hurt or angry at God? Take this time, think about how you can heal with it all. In the back, there's even one more way of being a partner with God, and that is by making food donations that we'll be collecting on Yom Kippur and all the days through Sukkot. And for those of you who are here, there's also yummy little treats for all of you as well to take with you. So Shana Tova to all of you. Shana to all of you who are with us on Zoom as well. We're so glad you joined us today. May this be a year of growth, a year of blessings, a year of learning, a year of health. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, everyone who's on Zoom. What we're going to do is...
Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova. What we're going to do is we're going to transition to the other service. We're going to put everyone in the waiting room just for a minute or two, and then we'll let you in about 5 minutes. We'll see you soon. Actually, Dan and Nadine, you can just hang out. If you hear anything, hold on, let me unmute you. If you hear any business, you'll hear some business, but it's nice to see you. Shana Tova, everyone. Shana Tova, Barry, nice to see you.
Okay, we won't be able to, they won't be able to see us. We'll be able to see them though.
Although we're gonna, you know what, we're gonna show, Stuart, if that was you, we are gonna actually show you guys to the folks in the sanctuary, so people can see each other a little bit.
There's 14 participants.
One second.
There we go. Now we have our own video. Unfortunately, if I bring it forward, it doesn't show.
Hi there. Shana Tova, Stuart, we can see you. Oh, but you can't see me. Now you can see me.
Sure, they can't. They can't. You see me?
Yeah.
So get in the.
Hello.
But you can talk.
Can't you just put it on there?
All right, I'll be right back, folks.
What happens if you bring it straight up?
I can't. It doesn't work. The camera somehow doesn't work.
Hi, Stuart. This is Lois. You may want to press the mute button on the lower left side of your screen so that we cannot hear your